What's up, such a 3GJP in the house. Anyway, I think yesterday I ran across the incident about Trayvon Martin and how he was shot and killed. And it's really sad because if you listen to the 911 tapes, that guy Zimmerman, he just created the scene, and made the scene. And I'm sure he already knew in his mind that um, that he knew the loss and everything. And I mean, there's so many different circumstances, how the police just botched up everything. And it's too bad. But the real, it's really sad is because the way he did it now, it's like people can just, and I would encourage it anyway. Everybody, doesn't matter who you are, should get a permit to carry a concealed weapon if your state allows you to. Just for the simple fact that you just might need it. And if I was in one of those states, I have one. I would definitely get one. Keep my weapon on me at all times. What went down from the 9/11 calls is really sad, and for him to claim self-defense, when he first initiated the contact, it's really sad. But then they'll come back with, well, just because he got out of his car and he approached um, Trayvon Martin doesn't mean that he had premeditated these things. But was it's something I've always said in my videos. I haven't came. Well, I'm sure I've said it, but brothers need to, young black men, you need to stop being afraid of other people of other ethnicities and things like that. And even though you're going through a lot of stuff, still being scared and fear and stuff, you got to stop doing that, because just the fear itself could have even driven, um, um, or could drive whoever's in pursuit, could give them more encourage them more and stuff like that. I've read a lot, some of the articles, watched, the video, the 911 call, and it was really sad, and the police, they're gonna protect their own, thinking they have the community behind them. And what's really sad is that now this guy is free, and I'm saying he fabricated this. And even if even let's say for just 1 second that he went over there and he tried to do something, and Trayvon could have punched him or whatever, out of reaction, and it could have been a mistake or whatever, or anything, or Zimmerman grabbed him and he pushed him back, or anything could have happened. And then, because Zimmerman knows the rules and the state laws, and I'm sure, he talks to people and probably talk to the police and everything, and then just all of a sudden say, okay, now I'm feeling fear because I'm in this uh, confrontation and everything, and bam, he shoots him. And it's just the time from he called to the time Trayvon lost his life. It's such a short time, so it's really sad. And if I was the father, I already know what I would do. you know, I don't, because I don't believe in God. I don't believe no one goes to hell. I'm for sure. I don't care what I do. I ain't going to hell. It's no such thing as hell. It's other things to do it. And that's why I keep saying, you brothers, sisters out there need to get rid of that religion stuff, because it's just controlling your emotions. Because there's no way that when um, when he approached Trayvon shouldn't be scared. And you guys gotta find some way to uh, to get rid of that, that fear. And that's another thing too, because when I listened to the 911 call, and the guy was going to go outside, his wife told him not to. And I'm thinking, why would he, being a white man in a gated apartment complex, you know, would be afraid to walk out in his own neighborhood? When the white men start becoming afraid to walk out of their houses, you know, and that's really sad. And this guy, and I mean, he could have went outside and could have stopped. I don't even see, going that far. But the fact is that, if you got white men, all of a sudden they're scared. And then you got black men scared. And you got these people scared. And the whole world is just running around, scared of what? Of getting shot. Nobody knows. People outside fighting. I mean, if it was in a black neighborhood and the police were out, and the lights are out, um, and they're right in front of your house, and you're a black guy and you in a black neighborhood and you open the door, you probably get shot. That's happened. Sometimes you probably won't. I don't know, but being in a white neighborhood and or predominantly white neighborhood anyway, and the wife told him to stay in the house. What kind of a man would listen to his wife? When there is something going on outside of his house, he shouldn't have anything to fear. And even if he would, let's say if Zimmerman would have shot him too, I would have been scared he was going to come outside and do something to me. And this law, and that law is really messed up because it's just, it could put anybody. I mean, now everyone, you guys go out and you're in these states and stuff, you get your weapons, you go to law enforcement and you get known, you let them know who you are and stuff like that. And just be careful because, it's the police just messed up, they just messed up. And it's not even a point that this dude go to jail or not. Trevor was dead for no reason. Absolutely no reason. Or, well, I wouldn't say no reason. Well, he shouldn't be dead, but the reason that he died is based on, falseness. Just lies. Black man dangerous, just dangerous. And this guy just wanted to be a hero and just went out there and just did that. And it's really sad. And it goes on, even in black neighborhoods, brothers shooting brothers and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, where the men at, in these neighborhoods? Where are you at? Are you scared Jesus Christ is going to send you to heaven? I mean, hell or something? There's no Jesus Christ. There's no God. There's no such thing as Christianity and all these other religions and stuff. It's just people putting that crap in your head. Now, they ain't putting it in your head. They're putting it in your emotions and controlling you. Zimmerman just got emotionally just emotionally out of control, and that's all. He just went over there, and he knowing the law was going to protect him for even because I'm sure they can't. I mean, I don't know if they can, but I'm sure they're not going to process him, persecute him, or what I'm saying, prosecute him for going over there and pushing Trayvon. You probably won't even go to court for that. You probably won't even get arrested for that. Police probably won't even do anything, and or walked over there and punched him, and he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for none of that stuff. If somebody punches you and then you turn around and punch them back, then they can call self-defense and pull a gun, and you listen to the calls, they always get away with everything. He looks suspicious. He's reaching for his waist, and you listen to that, that's just, he's just watching I mean, it's not that he's watching too much TV, but he's just putting himself in a position that these other cowardly cops and stuff, shooting black unarmed people, uh, you know, and I'm not talking about the good cops that shoot people on, for the reason and stuff, but just the ones who just don't do their job properly, and then somebody ends up dying. When you walk up on someone and you stop, and the first thing you do is you order them into a position, to a non-threatening position, and you frisk them, and you pat them down and make sure they are unarmed. It's just stupid to be a police officer and you're talking to somebody and they got a weapon. I mean, you don't even know them because you don't do your job. And this guy, he's watching TV, probably watching too much TV, too much, YouTube or whatever, you know, and like I said in my other videos, you know, they just, you know, those in control and stuff, they just playing and stuff, you know, because America has always been a country that just play people against people. You know, you got those who are in control just playing everybody, and it's just emotional. Because, I mean, I mean, when I listened to 911, that lady told that white man to stay in the house. She just straight bitched him, you know, and it's sad because how is it that a man will let his wife tell him not to do something that he know he should have at least walked outside and see and took control of the situation, you know. And nobody don't know what was going out there, you know. He could have went out, and I'm sure he wouldn't have got shot. And then if he would have got shot, you know, then we could have an emergency, you know. But the whole thing is, if you got grown, I mean, because you know, you always saying the white man this, the white man that, and the white man this, you know. And and it seems like the only real true white men are the ones that's hiding behind the badge. You know, they're hiding behind the badge and they're not even real, you know. And I'm not saying all cops, you know, because there's all kinds of cops, but you know, there's some crooked cops out there and stuff, you know. And every time you get one, you try to do it, but you know, people got their customs and their laws and their traditions and stuff that they adhere to and stuff like that. But it was just really sad. I was listening to them, and the lady told him, "Don't you go outside." And I'm like, no wonder women are so weak today, you know. And I mean, you know, I want to talk about Trayvon. You know, he lost his life and everything else. But I mean, you know, just you know, if you look at all the things that happened, you know, what I don't understand, another thing too, you know, if they got, you know, a lot of people in these living in these neighborhoods, people don't talk to each other no more, and they're all suspicious of each other, and you know, and everybody's all divided and things like that. And you got these neighborhood watch, you know, and if you got neighborhood watch in your community, you ought to know who's in charge and what they're all about. You know, and, you know, I read this guy Zimmerman. He's always, you know, people complaining about him and things like that, and the cops are not doing anything. You know, and for them not even arresting him, you know, or at least taking this gun thing away, you know, until the whole case is finished. You know, he can, you know, the way the law is written, he can keep doing that, and who knows, it might be a white person next or a Hispanic person next or anybody, you know. And it's messed up. You know, everybody's saying like justice, 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 but even if you go to jail, if you get killed, still like, Trayvon is gone, it shouldn't even be that way. You know, I mean, you know, how can you be satisfied because he's dead, Zimmerman dies, or go to jail forever, you know, and Trayvon's gone? You know, because every time a black child dies, you know, that's how many people that's there with him, his children and other people's lives that he can touch and change and all kinds of things, you know. And people just don't think about that. And you black people, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to get rid of that Christian stuff. I ain't lying. Get rid of that stuff because it's doing nothing to help us. Nothing at all. Nothing. Tell me one thing good that Christianity has done. One thing that is done. Because all it does is just mess with your emotion. It does nothing to your mind. And if you listen to what it says, I mean, it's, you know, it's just really sad. You know, because I fear, you know, I got kids in the States, and, you know, even my brother, you know, he got dropped to Hawaii by these two cops. You know, he won a case and stuff, you know. But they walked in his house and told his wife to go in the room, and then she went there, and one of the cops says, "Oh, why'd you hit me?" You know, just lying and stuff, and you know, they got into a fight, and he beat them down, and then they took him to jail and tried to beat him up again, but other black cops were there, and they stopped him and stuff, you know. He took him to court, you know, he won, you know, but you know, that's why, you know, you guys got to start working together because it doesn't make any sense for you to always be at their mercy, you know, of whoever is in control. And if you find that you go and you talk to these chief and you find out they're racist, you know, you guys got to start doing something to get them out of out of, you know, their positions and stuff. You know, it might not be able to, but still, you know, raise some concerns and stuff, and do things. And I mean, you know, because somebody's, I mean, you know, I mean, I could keep talking and talking about a lot of stuff, you know, and it might change, it might not change, you know, because people in their homes, you know, just everybody just acting crazy, you know. Brothers in the hood banging, shooting up each other, and you know everybody doing that. You know, I watched this video the other day, and this white dude and his wife was doing something, and she punched him. He just popped her right in her jaw. You know, this other brother, he made his kids film while he beating up on their mom and stuff like that. There's some crazy stuff going on, you know, and why is it, you know? And I'm just, you know, I like to get down to the cause of all this, and it's just these people just emotionally out of control, you know, just emotionally out of control, or their emotions are in control when it shouldn't be. You know, it really should not be in control, and that's all religion does. You know, if you do this, you're going to hell, and God ain't gonna do jack crap to you. God can care. And the Bible even says God cares less about you. You do what He say, you don't do what He say, it don't matter. Then somebody sends you to hell, you're gonna suffer what is suffering anyway. You know, how can you suffer? I can't even imagine suffering for the rest of your life and suffering for eternity. You know, I can't even imagine that stuff. Or being in heaven forever. You know, you can't even imagine that stuff. You know, just some feelings that you get and you don't even actually know. You know, and, you know, hopefully, you know, this guy get off the streets and they lock him up in jail. You know, but you know, and there's a lot, and you know, I'm just saying this. You know, I'm really sad. You know, I'm just talking, but you know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I don't like. But from what I've seen, is that this guy got shot because, I mean, Trayvon got shot. This guy shot Trayvon because he was emotionally out of touch with himself, emotionally just crazy. And then now they let him go. And I just hope to God, you know, well, not hope to God, but hope to my upper level God that that he just come out and confess what he did, you know, because I think a lot of people who got these special powers and stuff like that and understand what's really going on can talk to him, convince him to come out and do what he did, you know. And that's the best thing to do is come forth to confess. Whether he does that or not, you know, it doesn't matter. But then after that, you know, we still have to fix this problem, you know, because this problem, it between blacks and quote unquote whites, or between the slaves and the slave masters, and then the people who are the hedges, buffers. What is it called? The hedges between the slave master and the slaves are the white people, yeah. And because they're living good and everything, we're quote unquote supposed to be living good because they're all living in fear, just like we're living in fear. They live in the fear of us, but why should they live in fear of us when, you know, we were slaves for, well, I wouldn't say all of us because all of us were slaves and stuff, but pretty much, you know, for the first time they came to this country, you guys need to study. Blacks were already here and stuff, and you know, it's just been problems and stuff. And then they feared us, but nobody didn't fear us during slavery, you know. And it's a lot of hate. Where did this hate come from, you know? When you hate, it just deters you from looking at the truth because you're preoccupied emotionally instead of being occupied mentally. And then these people who know what they're doing, just making fools of all of us. You know, they just steadily increasing in technologies and doing what they're doing. And it's just really sad. And it's not even just him. You know, it's just a lot of people just out there. I mean, I remember one time I was in Venice and almost got shot, Russian bullets and stuff, I could have panicked and ran. I was like, I'm not running, I just said something to him. And luckily, what I said was, just, just, slow them down, just slow them down. Emotionally slowed them down. And I was able to get out of that. And another thing, too, I want to talk about, and I'll make another video about this. I don't know, I guess I can include it. It's going to be long, though. Is that everyone in the United States is programmed to act emotionally off their emotions and not mentally. So when you have a child at home who's constantly fighting with the parents and they're fighting all the time and the parents are fighting back, which shouldn't happen. Your kids get upset that you don't fight back. There's ways to control that stuff. And then when your kids get out in the streets, I'm talking about black children, and then they go into these other ethnicity shops and places like that, and they already have their problems at home because all these men, you listen to the 911, and that lady told that white man to stay in a house. Don't you go out there. And that right there just, bitch made nigga. You know what I'm saying? Bitch made nigga. And my wife, she tells me don't do that. I'm like, who are you to tell me what to do? I have my life, I have my judgments. If you sure you got all your stuff, whatever, but I still got my life, and I am not going to let no woman, anyone, correct my English, I am not going to let any woman tell me what I can and cannot do, married or not. I don't care. Because if you're a man, it's not even about being a man. It's about just being an individual, And that dude could have went outside and said something. Hey, what you doing? Stop. Anything. It could have saved Trayvon's life, But he let his wife tell him not to go outside. And when I heard that, I was saying, no wonder they got so many of these problems out here, and everybody's looking to shoot each other up, and they got these laws, and stuff like that. And what, it's really sad too because, I mean, I'm even gonna say that if it was black and everything, because it was this one case with this lady and her, I read on YouTube, some lady and her boyfriend raped some white kid, and he's still free. Or these girls in some white neighborhood, these girls, two girls, robbed some Girl Scouts of $100-something, and everybody's saying, this girl, like, if they were black, they would have been in jail. Why are they in jail? And why don't they discipline their kids? And maybe it's because they just, and I'm not saying they, I'm saying what I should say is why are they not trying to discipline their citizens? What are they doing? It might be some kind of plan or whatever, but if people are controlled emotionally, then there's a way to get that uncontrolled. And most of it's religion. I mean, God fearing people. God don't want you scared of him for what? Why would you be scared of something that already can whoop your ass anyway? You know what I'm saying? Why would you even be scared of God? He didn't make us to be cowards and stuff of him or anyone else. If it's true. I don't believe it's all true anyways, but still, But and that's just it. You just got these males who are just cowards, and I mean, God. I remember back in the day, when a woman was to tell a man, you can't, man, she got slapped. Bam! And it didn't even matter if he was black or white or whatever. They just, I'm the man in the house, so you don't like it, get out. you know, and how these men just gotten beat down to the point where this dude, I'm going outside. You don't go out there. Why, honey? You don't know what's out there. Well, I'm a white man. I'm God. You know, nothing's gonna happen to me. You know, and it's real sad. I mean, it's really, really sad. It's, all I can say is, you know, y'all need to get your acts together because, you know, the more young black men are dying, you know. I mean, you know, truthfully, what it is this, you know, they got this new world order stuff going on. And somebody asked me about it, asked what I think about it. And I really don't think anything about it because if it's going to happen, it's just going to happen. And it's nothing what I think or say. But for the meanwhile, you know, until it gets here, until all this stuff here, you know, there's things that we can do to make our lives a whole lot better, you know, a whole lot better. And we're not doing it, you know. And like, if you live in a neighborhood, like I'm thinking, like his father, you know, and he shouldn't even have thought about this. But you know, when I walk around my neighborhood, this Japanese neighborhood, you know, I walk around and every time I see Japanese people, I always smile and say hi, and it breaks a lot of that anticipation or that you don't know what to expect or you know they're gonna black guy what's he doing in Japan or look at that Japanese guy he's looking at me, look at that Japanese girl she looking at me, you know, even when I talk to Japanese women, Japanese guys are around, I'm like, hey, come on, talk, you know, and they all start, no, I'm sorry and everything, you know. And if they get upset, you know, I mean, it's gonna be some people out there that's just not gonna like you, and you know, it's just, and if you go look in their homes, like I said in my other videos, they're not happy at home. They're not happy with their wives. They're probably single, you know, and it's just a lot, you know. It's a lot. I mean, walk down the street and you see these guys and they look young, but we walk up and they don't look as young as we do, you know, not in great shape and all this stuff. And they got their defaults, and we got our defaults and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, you know, we just gotta. It just shouldn't been no way he should have been scared, you know. And we need to stop putting this fear of other people and our children. We need to get rid of that and stop saying that God's going to protect you and God's going to do this because God's not just like the White House ain't going to get involved. God's not going to get involved. God says, I mean, if you listen to the Bible, it says God helps them who helps themselves. And if you help yourself, then that means you accomplished it. You accomplished it. And if you accomplished it, then what is God to help you with? You know what I'm saying? And people get on knees and they pray and stuff, and you know they might pray to God and something might happen. It's not probably because God did any intervention. It's just probably because of the way you prayed and stuff, and that you know since we all connected, which I believe we all connected somehow, or whatever. You know, I got another video about that, but you basically at this level, you know, we call it the conscious, but actually this should be the unconscious level because we're unconscious of that what they call it unconscious, actually conscious, and that's what we're supposed to go up to, but we're unconscious of that. And so you go to subconscious talking to us, and then we listen to that, and then we just go up here, and then we go to the unconsciousness, and I think you can reach that in the form of your body, whatever. You know, they got these videos on YouTube. It's all some really interesting stuff, but you know, you can send messages to this dude and to other people. And I know I'm sounding crazy and stuff, but I'm telling you, I've did my little experimentations on this stuff, and everyone I've asked, you know, black, white, when I was in LA, everybody said, yep. And I asked them, why don't you continue to do it? And they're like, oh, I don't know. You know, basically what I asked them was that little voice in your mind, when you listen to it, does everything work out? And when you don't listen to it, just problems happen. And they agree. They say, yep. And I said, why don't you listen to it? And they just said, I don't know. And the reason they can't listen to it is because, you know, maybe because it works in your mind, but we have our, how can I say, we have our emotions. You know, it's like see a black person, and it's already there to do what? Black man, fear, run, call him a nigger, blah, 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 blah. You know, and they got these already programmed, you know. And so that's what they're doing. They put these programs in your emotions. So you trigger one emotion, you got this automatic response, you know. And when that white dude was like, the woman said, "Don't go out there." You know, he was gonna go out there. You know, sometime to go out there. And she said no, and that triggered some kind of fear in him that he didn't have, or some kind of emotional response that he couldn't break free from. You know. And when my wife, we get into a lot of stuff. She, you do this, you, I'm like, I just laugh. What time you coming home? He asking me what time. What if I'm dead? I can never come home. You know, and you don't talk like that. What's the truth? You know, I don't know what's gonna happen when I go out there. I'm not even worried about that. I come home when I get home. And if I'm not home, then it doesn't matter. You're supposed to be mature enough to be able to handle all this stuff anyway. So it doesn't matter if I'm here or not. You know, and you know, it's really interesting. I'm talking about. Let me